guy's a little popular in these parts. A guy named Jerry Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld. So I have never personally met Jerry Seinfeld,
Okay.
but I'll tell you two quick stories.
We like stories.
Yeah.
Please.
So one was when he was a comedian coming to Just for Laughs. This is before his show, I believe.
Yeah.
He was well known in comedy, and when he first arrived, they didn't know what show to put him on because it wasn't his time to perform yet. But there was a show called The Montreal Show, which was all local Montreal performers. This is about a year before I started, and they threw him on that. And when they threw him on that, he had a great set. When he got off, he started talking comedy with the local Montreal comics who were, they knew who he was in comedy.
Yes.
And, his manager kind of came over and did that thing where, hey, Jerry, we got to go. Like time. And he was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm talking. And he's just sat there and talked comedy for like a long time with guys that were, like sort of hanging on his every word. And
Like I am with you right now.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
I always thought that was kind of cool. That's how much he loved comedy. He would like, if you were talking comedy, you were speaking his language, and I thought that was a really cool thing.
Yes.
The other thing is, one year he was supposed to do a fundraiser for a Montreal hospital. It was a snowstorm at the last minute, and he couldn't make it in. And I got a phone call to replace him, and I don't know what he was getting money wise, but it would have been a lot. And it was all very last minute. And I had just spent 3 days at that hospital with my son, who had been sick for 3 days, and they had really saved him. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to be there in an hour. And they said, what do you charge? I said, it's free. Like that's the state of mind I was in.
Yes.
It's like these people just saved my son. I'm going to just go. And so I did this show and regretted it immediately in terms of price point because there were like 200 people, black tie, I should have at least asked for something for sure.
Scott Faulconbridge in the future, which Mason Rush would do as a wrestler, when they say that to you, call my manager.
Yeah.
Call the chosen lawyer.
I
can negotiate you more than zero. Trust me.
So anyways, there was the nurses who had set up the whole thing. They knew I had not asked for it. They knew why I had not asked for anything. And I was just feeling, it was like December 23rd. I was feeling very Christmassy.
Yeah.
And I went home, and the next morning the doorbell rang, and it was the same nurses who had set everything up.
Yeah.
And they had about, kid you not, they had about $8,000 of toys for my kids on December 24th, all wrapped. And they gave me that for doing the gig.